Alright, the Alliance Insight stream is here with huge anime reveals from Jump Vesta, but I'm not going to go over those, and I'm going to do this one at a time. So we're going to start off with, finally, the evolved form of Ancient Fairy Dragon with Luna support. So let's begin. So first up, all her main deck retrains. We start off with Regulus, the Fairy Beast, which is a level 4 light beast with 1700 attack, 1000 defense, and each effect is hard once per turn. So the first one is that if this card's normal special summon, you can add one Spore trap that has Ancient Fairy Dragon in text from your deck to your hand. I'm going to mention these as Ancient Fairy Dragon cards. But anyway, this is already very good because it searches up basically your archetype. In which the second effect is that during the main phase, you can special summon one level 4 or lower light beast, plant, or fairy monster from your hand in defense. If you're wondering why with those types, it's just because Luna or Ruka plays those types in their decks. But once again, very helpful because it actually makes your plays, especially if they're tuners. In which the third effect is that you can manage this card from your graveyard, then target one field spell in your graveyard, put it at the bottom deck and draw a card. Basically lets you recycle the field spell, which is an Ancient Fairy Dragon thing, since it lets you reactivate from deck. Overall, it's just a very cool support card for Ancient Fairy Dragon, especially in a way it's generic as well. Mainly just for the special summon effect, and if your deck has a field spell, even better. So overall, a cool retrain already. And then we get a retrain of Spore the Fairy Cell, which is a level 1 light plant tuner with 400 attack, 800 defense, and its first effect is that if this card special summon, you can increase its level up to the number of monsters you control, and that includes itself. So you have another monster that includes with this, you increase its level by 2, so that will be level 3, and if the other one happens to be level 4, that makes level 7. But this is pretty nice already for giving you more options for synchro summons. In which the second effect is that it's a hard once per turn if this card's in your graveyard and you control Ancient Fairy Dragon or a light beast, plant, or fairy monster, you can special summon this card, but you're restricted to summoning synchro monsters from the extra deck for the rest of the turn. A little more restricted than the original Spore, but obviously it's for archetype reasons, but overall it's pretty good just because it can manipulate its level and also free special summon. And in a way, it's a double synchro play. And then finally, Kbon the Fairy Spirit, which is a level 1 light fairy with 300 attack, 200 defense, standard Karipo stats, with both effects being hard once per turn. The first one is that if you control Ancient Fairy Dragon or light beast, plant, fairy monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. If you do, it's treated as a tuner. Level 1 light tuner is just very helpful. Especially, spoiler alert, your Ancient Fairy Dragon, the new one, is going to be level 8. So combining that with the Ancient Fairy Dragon, that makes total level 8. In which we got the second effect is that if another monster you control that is Ancient Fairy Dragon or a Ancient Fairy Dragon card would be destroyed by card effect, return this card to your hand instead. A fairy spirit just flying around protecting your guardian dragon. Pretty nice. And also extends plays, so there's really no reason not to run this for your Ancient Fairy Dragon deck. In which now we finally evolved the Ancient Fairy Dragon. Ancient Fairy Life Dragon, which is a level 8 light dragon synchro with 2500 attack, 3300 defense. Funny enough, it's basically the reverse stat of Shooting Star Dragon. And once again, it has the highest defense of all the Signer Dragons because it's a guardian dragon of the spirit world. But anyway, it has generic materials, so it actually kind of makes this generic. In which the first effect is that this card synchro summon, draw a card, or if World Spirits is on the field, aka the field spell, add one light beast, plant, or fairy monster or one Eternal Sunshine from your deck to your hand instead. Eternal Sunshine being the attack name card. Overall, it's pretty nice already, lets you just add a card to your hand directly, whether it's draw or just search. Although comparing to the original, you got the original that can special summon once per turn, but that one restricts you to basically no battle. So this one can be in a way a little better already, especially with the second effect where Ancient Fairy Dragon monsters, or just even Ancient Fairy Dragon, can attack while face up in defense. And of course, you will apply damage based on the defense calculation. So basically, it's kind of treated as a 3300 attack like Super Heavy Samurai would do. And I really like it that they made use of this high defense, especially since the idea of Ancient Fairy Dragon is protecting the spirit world, and all the other spirits are protecting each other, so they're using their defensive power to go up against enemies that are invading. So overall, it's a pretty cool new boss monster, an evolved form of Ancient Fairy Dragon that I'm glad to see, and it's kind of generic in a way as well. So it makes it very splashable in many decks. Hopefully this card doesn't get too expensive because of it. Especially for a level 8 synchro, it's kind of like 3300 attack here, and design-wise is pretty awesome. And now to the new field spell, the World Spirits, or the Spirit World depending on how they decide to do it. So you can only activate one of these per turn. This is so because of Ancient Fairy Dragon reasons. And the second and third effect can only be activated if you have a level 7 or higher light dragon synchro. And that can include, in a way, any other generic dragon that is light dragon synchro. But anyway, when this card resolves, you can add one monster that mentions Ancient Fairy Dragon from its text from your deck to your hand. Always helpful to search. In which we go to the second effect is that each time a monster is special summoned to an attack, attack position, change it to defense, in which it kind of relates to the third effect is that once per turn during the end phase, destroy all the turn's player's attack position monster. Basically, all the spirits protecting each other, even if they're going to get destroyed, they're going to destroy everything your opponent has in the end phase of their turn. It's kind of like that kind of idea because all the spirits gather around to destroy the invaders. But once again, I kind of like that they're making use of Ancient Fairy Dragon's defensive playstyle right here, especially its high defense. But overall, it's an okay card. And now finally, Eternal Sunshine, which is a continuous trap and it's the attack name card of Ancient Fairy Dragon. But anyway, its effect is that monsters you control get 500 defense for each Ancient Fairy Dragon monster or monsters that mentions it you control. Once again, making use of a high defense. But the second effect is that once per chain, and you can activate this number of times equal to the number of Ancient Fairy Dragon or monsters that you mention it control, you can target one face-up monster your opponent control into the end turn. Its current attack and defense become half and its effects are negated. This effect is actually very strong, especially once again, all the spirits gather up together to basically annihilate your opponent. And the fact that this last effect can be played more than once a turn, that can be quite nasty actually. So overall, it's a cool new card for Ancient Fairy Dragon, and I would have to say I would probably run this for the Ancient Fairy Dragon deck. So that's it for the new Ancient Fairy Dragon support, or Luna support, or Spirit support, whatever you like to call it. What do you guys think of it? Overall, it's just very cool, especially after for so long, Ancient Fairy Dragon finally has an evolved form. And since Luna or Ruka never really have an actual archetype deck, this is kind of a funny way to do it since I was kind of expecting that they're going to retrain her signature monster into a synergize strategy like what they did with Yugi. And in a way, it kind of works. But overall, I'm just happy that we got to see a new form of Ancient Fairy Dragon because out of all the Sign Dragons, for some reason, she's the only one without evolved form right now. And finally, she got it. And I have to say, design-wise, is very gorgeous. But other than that, that's it for this, and see you all next time.